Hi. In this video I'd like to talk to you about the 2-second rule. And this is very important. The 2-second rule means that when somebody asks you a question or makes a comment, you must respond within 2 seconds. Okay? In a normal, naturally flowing conversation between native speakers, a response will always happen within 2 seconds. And if it doesn't happen, then the conversation starts to feel uncomfortable or starts to break down. Okay, so let me just say that again and give you a few more details. So when somebody asks you a question or makes a comment, for example, the weather's very nice today or something like that, then you should respond within 2 seconds. Two seconds or less. Yeah? Okay. Now, of course, the best response you can make in this situation is an appropriate response. So, you've understood their question and you answer their question. Where are you from? I'm from Japan. Okay. The weather's nice today? Yes, it is. Or no, it's quite humid, I thought. Or something like that. An appropriate response is the best response. Okay. However, many times you won't quite catch what somebody says. Or maybe you won't understand their question. Okay. In this situation, you must still respond within 2 seconds. More than 2 seconds of silence and the conversation starts to become uncomfortable. The conversation starts to break down. I'll go into more detail about that later. But if you can't make an appropriate response within 2 seconds because you didn't hear or you didn't understand or you need more time to think, still you should say something within 2 seconds. Okay. And in those situations, we would use some way of asking them to repeat what they said, saying that you didn't hear. Or that you didn't understand, okay? Or maybe you just need some time to think, so you might need some hesitation devices. Yes, I suppose so, let me see, or something like that, before you make your response. Okay. Now, in other videos, we've covered you didn't hear and you didn't understand. In other videos, we will cover hesitation devices. Okay, but these are the things that we can do in this situation. Okay, because the 2-second rule says that you must respond to a question or a comment within 2 seconds. In some way. Okay, good. Now, why? Why do we have to do that? Well, one of the aims of this course is to make you a more natural and confident communicator. We want to make you somebody who is able to interact smoothly with native speakers. Okay? So we have interaction which leads to communication. Interaction leads to communication. But some of our interaction is about communicating. It's about exchanging ideas. But some of our interaction is just to develop our relationship. This is sometimes called rapport. It's a French word, so we don't pronounce the final T. Rapport. Rapport is to create a friendly, understanding atmosphere in which conversation can take place. So we try to establish rapport, build rapport, and maintain rapport. So it's quite useful if the other person likes you, if the other person feels comfortable with you and comfortable talking to you, then it's easier for them to interact with you, and it's easier for them to communicate with you. So actually, developing a relationship helps you to develop the communication. But the communication also helps you to develop the relationship. Okay, now why am I telling you this? Because, as I said at the beginning, if you don't follow the 2-second rule, if you are silent for more than 2 seconds, then things start to become uncomfortable. The other person will wonder why the conversation is not going smoothly. They will start to feel uncomfortable or nervous. Maybe not very strongly, but somewhere deep inside they're thinking something is not right. Okay? And then this means that there's a breakdown in your relationship. And if there's a breakdown in your relationship, then this can cause a breakdown in your communication. Okay. I'd like to try and give you a couple of examples of the 2-second rule kind of in action, or what happens when the 2-second rule isn't followed well. So, let's imagine we have your boss and we have you. Okay. Now, in this situation, your boss asks you a question or makes a comment. For example, how's it going with the Nakatani negotiations? Okay, and somewhere there you didn't hear or understand that properly. Okay. If you remain silent now, then the boss is like, why isn't he answering me? What's going on? Was it something I said? Why is he silent? So they are starting to become nervous. If there's a 2-second silence, often they will feel, I must fill this silence. So even though they are nervous now, or in kind of panic mode, they'll say something else. In an ideal world, if they were all teachers like me, they would slow down and ask you the same question again. How are the Nakatani negotiations going? Okay, but that's generally not what happens in this situation. The boss asked you this question already. How are the Nakatani negotiations going? You didn't respond. So the boss will ask you something different. So are they going well? Are they going badly? So tell me what's the situation? So now your boss has asked you 3 new questions. But without you understanding the first question, there's no way to answer these 3 new questions. Now your boss has asked you 4 questions. You still don't understand anything. More silence. Now your boss is getting angry and frustrated and asking you even more questions. And on it goes. Okay? By not responding at all, by not following the 2-second rule, you lost control of this conversation. And your boss doesn't know what's wrong because you are silent. Okay? So this conversation is not going to go well. Okay, so what should you do in this situation? Well, how's it going with the Nakatani negotiations? I'm sorry? The Nakatani negotiations. Sorry, could you just say that once more? Yes, how's it going with the Nakatani negotiations? The Nakatani. Oh, okay, I got you now. Okay, well, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, although that is also a little bit frustrating, and not 100% smooth, it's definitely better than silence. Okay? You are showing what's a problem for you, and the boss are negotiating the meaning. Okay? And you are still in control to some extent of the conversation. Okay? If you are silent, then this person is going to ask you a string of questions that you don't understand. You must immediately stop them when something is not clear and get the clarification you need. Okay. So, respond within 2 seconds to a question or comment. That's the 2-second rule.